Alright guys, check this out. Mystical Teleport. Teleport deals 500x. That's the multiplicative increased damage. This is something that I was really excited to actually build for Season 4 of Diablo 4. So first, let me go and briefly explain kind of how it works. And I'm going to warn you guys, if you guys do want to build this is probably going to be one of the strongest builds in the game. However, it is going to be extremely difficult to get up and running because all of your things need to be basically perfect. You need greater affixes to get this build to its top notch. So to explain why I wanted to build this, well, obviously with a 500x multiplier, who wouldn't want to just try out the skill to see if it could one-shot things? And the open world, easily, definitely. Now if you want to push higher, it's going to absolutely require you to have absolutely like cracked out gear. So to explain how the build works, and I don't have everything perfect, this is the PTR right now, and you're going to need to get as much cooldown reduction as possible. So what your goal is to do with this is trying to get teleport into 50 plus ranks. And I know right now at 23 might sound like a lot, but you can get this up even higher. It's going to require, if you want to min-max this build, get really good rolls on specifically the cooldown reduction, as well as getting greater affixes on the mobility cooldown reduction, and master working it to get even higher ones. So right now, we have a plus 15 on this Oculus over here. We also have the attacks reduces its cooldowns, so you'll see some other things I'll talk about in a moment here. Some of the attacks that we're using are just used to activate that special ability. If that got masterwork to reduce the evades cooldown even further, that would be even better. So the only important stats on this is basically everything but the damage. So ideally, if we got greater affixes of additional evades, that's huge, as well as getting the attacks reducing evades cooldown. Actually, that being pretty much one of the most important things. Now on top of that, you obviously want as much ranks to teleport, because as you go higher, you're going to get even more cooldown reduction. Our teleport has a 2-second cooldown. That's pretty good. I haven't really seen that too much in the game. And remember, we don't even have the seasonal power yet. If we get any more mobility or just flat cooldown reduction, like we had maybe in the previous seasons, this could be something to take into consideration as a easier build to run. Because right now, 2.24 seconds, it's not that bad. Basically, 2 attacks will give us the ability, well, if that like works off of the evade, technically is a little bit different, but just the evade charges over here. And what you can do is you can run one of the vampiric powers to give yourself unstoppable metamorphosis, and that way the teleports aren't random, because this is how the teleport random works, which is arguably a bad thing. But just getting cooldown reduction, you need like everything perfect on this build to get it up and running. And on top of that, you can get ranks to not only teleport, but plus ranks to defensive skills. So if you get ranks to defensive skills and teleport and have those greater affix, and then you masterwork those, you can get some pretty insane numbers, and that's how you can get into the 50 plus. So ideally, that's what I want to try to hit. It's going to be really hard, but I know I was talking about this before we actually got the season PTR. I was talking about how this could be one of the top tier builds. I mean, look at the damage on teleport. It's 43,000 like on the higher end, which is equivalent to a rank 9 frozen orb is what I remember, which is another build that is brand new in the season, probably one of the top tier builds. At least what I was testing out, it seems like Frozen Orb is going to be one of the fan favorite builds going into Season 4, and this does respectable damage. On top of that, the lucky hit chance on teleport is so dang high, you can get 100% lucky hit chance with this build very easy. You can actually get mobility cooldown reduction on your boots, and on your amulet you can get flat cooldown and mobility. So obviously the teleport skill is a mobility skill. And then Tall Rasha is obviously in every sorceress build, and on top of that, you can also consider running X-Falls specifically for more cooldown reduction. I got a greater affix. And then we've got another greater affix over here, but it's not on cooldown reduction. It's got perfect CDR, but you need to get everything really good for this build to get up and running. There's actually a codex that I'll show you guys in a second for the temper that we don't actually have, which is crazy numbers. So right here, we have the temper of Nova size, so teleport can actually get increased in size. Now I'm not sure if I really want to go for like a size. I just want to basically make it so it's spammable and it just one-shots everything. Now other things that you can consider if I wanted to get, let's say, cold damage, I can also throw in like the ice blades, but we can throw in this. I'm not even using fireball to actually shoot it out. It's just because it counts as another attack. It was another thing that I was going to consider with Flicker Step. So Flicker Step is another option that you can play with the build, but it doesn't use, obviously, the new temper mechanic. You can, I guess, masterwork it, but That'd be another thing that you could consider if you wanted to spam your ultimate, which I think is a pretty good thing to do as well. I'm kind of testing out things, and the point of this video is to get your guys' feedback and maybe your input after you guys see the gameplay. And I'll give you guys gameplay 1 second. I just kind of need to explain what's going on really quick. So let's go ahead and just go into the Helltide, and keep in mind, the build is not anywhere near maxed out. It's going to be really hard to max out, and unfortunately, since the PTR, all my progress would get deleted. And I would love to have some of the uber uniques. Specifically, Harlequin Crest, the Shaco, would be one of the sought after like items for this build, because it gives you cooldown reduction, and it gives you plus ranks to skills. And some of the things that can go defensive skills, plus you can get your plus flat ranks to teleport. You basically are double dipping, which is really, really good. So let me go and show you guys the gameplay of the build. So remember, our attacks aren't used to actually kill things. Teleport, you'll see one teleport. Boom, right there. We just killed them. So this is kind of how the build plays. It's going to be very chaotic, but the whole goal was to test it out. By the way, Blizzard is just used to proc the Talrasha's ring. So I have something that's ice, because the other ice skill doesn't proc it. Fireball will actually activate Talrasha's, and as well as the Flame Shield, because Flame Shield will count. But basically, we're just going to be teleporting around, and we need to be attacking, so that's why I have some sort of attacks on my build, because the attacks reduce the cooldown of our evade. So hopefully we can get like a big little density here, and you'll see kind of like how it can work. Now, on the higher ends, when I was looking at some of the numbers with teleport specifically, we can hit upwards of 300,000, which is okay enough for most builds. But yeah, this is kind of how it works, and let's see if we can find like more of an elite pack. Now, I'm gonna be honest, against bosses, it's probably not going to do so hot. And the reason why is you have no control over where it's going, and the boss is not going to die in basically one teleport. But the build is kind of cool. I think that this has some potential. We could even convert it into more of a fireball, teleport, ball, lightning. We could actually fuse stuff, and you can kind of hybrid out the build. But I've been enjoying this. It's a very cool build that I haven't seen before, because again, we didn't have access to like this amount of cooldown reduction and this amount of damage on teleport. And I also want to show you guys the codex. Let me see if I can find an elite pack, but you guys get the idea. It's not going to have any problems against elites, but if you're looking to do like uber bosses, it might be very, very difficult or near impossible to make this viable for like an uber boss one-shotter build. This is more just so for like really, really crazy fast open world content. And if we get any seasonal power that gives us additional cooldown reduction, specifically flat numbers versus like 10% cooldown reduction, if we just get, I mean, all I need is 2 more, and we actually have 0.7% missing on our amulet. So if we get 0.7 additional cooldown on it, and like, I'm not sure how it registers, but we get like what, 1 point something on the cooldown on teleport. So it's looking pretty solid. And remember, we're missing like another 20 or 30 ranks. Now, to get those ranks, again, I'm just going to warn you guys, it's not going to be something where it's like, oh, I kind of want to make this build over the weekend. This is going to be a build where it's going to take probably like the full season to get up and running, unless you're incredibly lucky. But like, look at that pack of elites, just absolutely deleted. Now, would this be like a pit monster level 200 build? Well, I mean, you could, in theory, run Ryment, and this is something I was thinking about doing. I'm sure a lot of people have played Ball Lightning before, even though this isn't a Ball Lightning build. We just use it because it just activates the attack, and any lucky hit, proc chances, that's fine. But what you can do with this build is, again, you are activating like unstable currents, just so you get all these other little bonuses. You can stun things, and I was considering Ryment, but it does make the cooldown longer, and we lose ranks to teleport. And on the chest piece, if you go to the occultist, you can now get 2 different things. So one of the things that you can get is, where is it? You get plus to teleport, and you can get defensive skills. Teleport is a defensive skill, so in theory you can go, I don't know, what is this at max? This is +4, +3, so that's 7. And then if you, again, do the Mastercraft, and on top of that, if it was greater affix, I mean, we're missing like 10 plus right here, easily. Again, that's counting the Masterwork yet. This one, we're missing like another 15, so the build is not even anywhere near perfect. But if we think about what could be the best build in Diablo, not even just counting like the Sorceress, I mean, this, if we get enough ranks to defensive skills and just enough skill points, I mean, this gives you immortality, right? It just, you can't take damage. You get this, and you're teleporting around, stunning everything with Ryment. That could be something to consider, but this gives you longer cooldown. There's one codex that you can get in the offensive category that I was considering as well, and that is, oh, it's a temper over here. So in the temper, there is one thing that I wanted to mention before I go ahead and end off our build in progress here. It's called Shock. There's so many that are, oh, this is all. We want to go under the offensive one. So it's called, is it Shock Finesse? Okay, yeah, it's Shock Finesse. We want to look at the legendary one. So look at this one. This one, because a lot of these can roll up to like, it's like 45% damage. But then if you select this specific type, if you have the temper recipe, you can get plus 200 teleport damage. That is crazy numbers. So if you got this tempered on your stuff, you could look upwards of, you could probably get it to hit like for a mil. Like I would say if you're getting teleport to hit for 1,000,000, it's pretty solid. And again, remember, there's a 500x multiplier on all the stuff that you're getting. So this is a massive amount. It's basically 4 times the amount that you would normally get on a roll. And then if you, again, get this masterworked. Masterwork is a 1.35, I believe, is what the number can be if you get all of the numbers. And we're looking at like near 500% teleport damage on that. Or you can get like the, I think we have like the Nova size. I'd rather just get the damage just so I can one-shot everything and have everything proc. But this is kind of our build in progress for the teleport, as I kind of want to update you guys on it. As far as building it in the PTR, again, I mean, it would take so long to build it, and the most disappointing thing after farming the Harlequin Crest, after getting everything deleted, would be pretty disappointing. So I think what I'm going to do with this build is I've already signed out that this build is definitely viable. I mean, we're only halfway there on the stats on this, and it's already hitting for really good damage. Like I said, it hits for about 300k on the higher end, and we don't even have everything maxed out yet. And also, we're counting X-Falls, which does almost no additional damage. I may drop this item. The thought process isn't for like the lucky hit chance or anything. It's literally just cooldown. The rest of the stats do not matter on it. So if we replace this with a good aspect, adding vulnerability in the build as one of like the ring slots that you can get, then we're looking at way more damage. And if we can somehow get any seasonal power with the, I don't know, cooldown to our mobility skill or defensive skill, or anything related to shock, even just getting our ultimate to be able to be kind of up 100% of the time. I could throw in Flicker Step. That's something I was considering. Flicker Step, and then we could run the Metamorphosis, you know, the one where we don't have to have it random. This could be actually pretty good. I definitely think this build has potential, but I don't want to spend like my entire PTR time building this build and then it getting deleted, because I already know that it works at least in open world content, which is easy to hit. But again, there's so many numbers to actually hit that we don't have yet because, well, I just haven't gotten that temper page, the recipe. So we will definitely be building this in Season 4, but that's our introduction to the teleport build. But again, I want to warn you guys, if you guys want to build it in Season 4, you're going to have to put like a lot of time in, or get really lucky. But you know, since we can trade things, I was thinking that if we can trade the tempered items, or not tempered items, the greater affix items, it might not be that bad to actually build, because we can also trade unique. So I could just go trade to get a perfect Oculus, because I'll be honest, most people probably won't be interested in building this build because it's going to be absolutely a nightmare for, I think, most people to build, because it just requires so many things to be perfect. But anyways, ranted long enough. That's the build. That's what we've got so far with it. Let me know, guys, what you think, and if you have any other like cool ideas to add into this build, like again, like some of the things like X-Fall, I happened to got greater affix on it, so I was like, okay, let's go ramp it up. I mean, we can maybe get like 20% cooldown reduction on this, and then if we get the other 0.7, getting everything perfect, I think we can probably get it down, and hopefully, the goal is to get this down to 0. I don't know if the game will let us do that, but I have not seen a rank 50 teleport yet. Maybe at you know, some sort of breakpoint, it won't give us any more. But that's unknown info because I don't think anyone's gotten that far yet. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you want to see an update to one of the, probably the best build in the game, if you get it absolutely perfected. Again, if you get your cooldown reduction high enough, I mean, there's not other skills in the game that I believe just give you straight up immortality. Like getting this up and getting extra cooldown on this, these count as attacks too that have no animation, so it helps out with Flicker Step as well as like the attacks reduced, because I guess they count as attacks. Anyways, ranted long enough. That's our progress on the teleport build, and it's absolutely looking pretty cool. But peace out, guys.